Lave radio. It's even louder than me. Wait a minute. That can't be right.
There's bargains, bargains, bargains at Etienne Dawn's Unspecified Meat Emporium. Etienne Dawn's Unspecified Meat Emporium haven't just been slicing carcasses, but also slicing their prices. All unspecified meat sausages now 2 for the price of 1. A pack of assorted meat steaks, now with 50% more meat at half the price. How about chops? Our surprising meat chops now also 50% off. And introducing our massive meat hamper. It's a family of 4. No, that should say feeds a family of 4, right?
Stick to the script, Claire. It says it's a family of 4.
Okay, I'll stick to the script.
Yeah, you do that.
It's a family of 4. Etienne Dawn's Unspecified Meat Emporium. Find us in the Lave business directory or visit us next to the station mortuary. Etienne Dawn's Unspecified Meat Emporium. You'll wonder how our prices are so low.
I was overseeing the delivery of some slaves to the starport in Exios, and a cleaning robot had just washed the floor, but not left a warning sign. I had to run after a slave that was escaping, and I slipped and fractured my wrist. I was delayed for 10 whole minutes while the Medicomp repaired the damage. My time is billable. Can I get compensation?
Yes, you can.
I was on a regular trading run back to Sol, and it was my job to repaint the outside of the ship. I was given the wrong kind of EVA clamps. Nothing bad actually happened, but it did give me a fright. Can I get compensation?
Yes, you can.
I was checking some robots through customs when I distinctly heard an official call the robots clanks. I was deeply offended, even though I'm not a robot myself. That's their word. You're not allowed to use it. Can I claim for moral outrage?
Yes, you can. At Cowell and McGrath, we are now taking any kind of legal action. No case too small, no justification too frivolous. If you've been lightly inconvenienced, embarrassed, or in any way put out, then someone should be made to give you money. Don't be a stupid clank.
Excuse me?
Cowell and McGrath, taking on any case, playing the percentages.
We all know what it's like. You're busy managing your settlement when suddenly the alarms go off.
Oh no, not again.
That's right. A commander with a Federation naval rank of Admiral, an Imperial King no less, has landed in a ship worth over 100 million credits and is killing all your staff, while they look around for a 10 credit adhesive to glue an upgraded scope to their 100,000 credit assault rifle. They fly away with their super glue and you're left with a problem. How are you going to get your agricultural plant back up and running?
How am I going to get my plant up and running?
How are you going to find staff at short notice?
How am I going to find staff at short notice?
How are you going to deal with all those bodies?
There's bodies everywhere, and they've stained the carpet.
Wonder no longer. Call Aries Crime Scene Cleanup Services.
Hello, I'm Harry from Harry's Mine. After a sudden increase in robberies and murders by commanders since 3307, I've gained valuable expertise in cleaning up bodies, recruiting new staff and restocking stationary lockers. Now you can benefit from my experience by signing up to our Crime Scene Cleanup Service subscription plan.
That's right. For only a small monthly fee, when your settlement alarms are activated, our rapid response cleanup crew will be dispatched, along with our patented Cadaver Scoop 150. The Cadaver Scoop 150 can be mounted to surface reconnaissance vehicles and skimmers to make tidying up your settlement a breeze.
Wow, the bodies are gone.
Our recruitment team has potential new employees on standby across the galaxy, ready to fill your vacant roles in security, logistics, administration, processing, and more.
My plant's operational again. Thanks, Aries Crime Scenes Cleanup Services.
Aries Crime Scene Cleanup Services. We'll have your settlement as good as new before the next ship arrives. Cadaver Scoop 150 disposal bags sold separately.
Science, 3 welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders.
Greetings, Commanders.
The show that talks about the universe of Elite
and the development of the computer game Elite 4, known as Elite Dangerous,
and the fantastic
community that surrounds it.
Broadcast from the Orange Sidewinder and hosted by a vending machine technician.
A place of nonsense and innuendo for forum dads.
A self-contained podcast 2 hours long.
Transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
It's even louder than me.
The hottest show this side of Diso.
The name of the place.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Commanders, and welcome to episode 456 of Lave Radio, the show about the universe of Elite and the fantastic community that surrounds it. I'm your host, Commander Psychic, also known as Claggard, and joining me in the Orange Sidewinder bar for this episode are our SRV Banksy, Alec Turner,
Neville, Phillips, Webb, Asaya, Crown, Garden, Neville, Phillips, Webb, Asaya, Crown, Garden, Neville. Oh wait, sorry, I've just gone into a relapse. Hello everyone.
That took me far too long. That was last week. It is out of my mind now. that has fully been compartmentalized. That's so funny. We have our head of health and safety, Commander Levice, otherwise known as Ben Boss Woodward. That's your full name now.
Ben Ross Woodward.
Yeah, that's his name. Edward Woodward. We also have doing double duty, because I forced him to, as usual, is the beautiful, wonderful Chris Mark IV.
Ahoy!
Ahoy hoy. We don't have a Colin. We're supposed to have a Colin. We're supposed to have a Colin back this week. Unfortunately, Colin has had a minor incident. He's fine, but he can't come to the microphone right now. So unfortunately, you've got the chaotic gremlins here doing shenanigans. I say he's fine. He's okay. We're sending you all love, Colin, and we will see you. We will see you when we see you. Recover swiftly, you nonsense human.
We didn't burn him.
Why would I burn Colin? It'll buff out. It's fine. If you wish, you can join us live. We are hanging out in game, in open. It looks like Chris is just sitting down at the bar at Lave Station. Am I accurate in saying that?
I have just docked now, and I'm on my way to the bar.
And Ben appears to be far-arsing around on a planet somewhere. Is that right?
Oh, I was assuming that Chris is still trying to get his Sirius thing, so I'm actually over at Cormac Comstock.
Oh, I need to know whether that's an actual thing in a moment, but we will find out shortly. If you can't get in game, you can also join the Twitch channel, which you can access through laveradio.com/live and clicking on live chat, and via twitch.tv/laveradio. We're also available on other social media platforms, but you know where to find us by now. So, hey. Hi, folks. How has your week been? Let's start with the Chris Mark IV.
Hello. I'm having one of those really busy, sort of manic weeks. Though I did have a lot of fun on Friday night. We had a fundraiser for the sort of media charity that I volunteer for, that runs Black Diamond FM, where I can be heard on Sundays between 12 and 2. And
So
we had
proud of you. I'm so proud of you right now.
so we did a little fundraiser, and you know these sort of race nights where they'll show DVD footage of horse races where they've taken the names out, and then you can sort of put little bets on, and then the charity takes some of the pool money away from them at the end. Well, we do one with a slight difference, which is we do pig racing.
Amazing.
This is where they get little battery-operated toy pigs and race them along a little track, and we bet on those. It is just a ridiculous amount of fun, and managed to raise £400 for the charity, which is a great little amount for us to use. So yeah, no, it was a really good night going off and doing that. So that was most of that. Saturday was spent recovering. Sunday was the usual sort of radio stuff, and then going out and enjoying this lovely weather that we've had, which I wasn't expecting. This is meant to be autumn now. It's meteorological autumn.
Season. It's spooky season. Why am I so warm?
yeah, exactly. You know, you're going to need to really, really ventilate your pumpkins this year. They're going to be roasted on the front porch.
Is that a euphemism?
I
mean, it is now.
Are your pumpkins roasted?
Take it down. Make a note. Oh dear.
No. So yeah, really, really warm at the moment. In game last week, everyone who was watching the stream was watching me fly between about 3 or 4 different stations close to the Sirius system in order to obtain a permit. That was not happening. I have news, and that news is that I now have a Sirius permit. Basically, next time I logged in on game, I was sitting in a station and I had a mission invite going, "Hey, just hit this button and you get a permit, mate." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, that was it. And then when I flew into the next system, it was like, and you can have the engineer as well, but first you've got to fly blimmin' miles away and deliver this data. So yeah, I now have access to the engineer who I now need to deliver something to. I can't remember, dishwashers or something. And,
probably dishwashers. That sounds
probably
right.
dishwashers. Yeah. And then I've got an engineer unlocked who I don't really want for anything. I simply want them so I can unlock the one I do want. So after all of that, that has been my little in-game experience this week.
Amazing. Cool. Well, congratulations on getting your Sirius permit and catching up with the rest of us. That was so backhanded. I'm so proud of myself for that. Ben, how's your week been?
My week's been spent mainly in a fantasy land.
Amazing. Faerun is an excellent place to spend your week.
It is. And as I was saying in the pre-show, I may or may not have had sex yet. I'm not quite sure. Things happened. We don't know what.
Look, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you romance in the beautiful fantasy game. It just matters that you're having fun.
I'm having a lot of fun.
Good.
And yeah, I'm like 70 odd hours in or whatever now.
Incredible.
I did break somebody out of prison. That was fun.
That is fun. I know exactly who it is that you're talking about.
Yeah. And I was just sneaking in and sneaking out. I loved it. It was a proper. Like, right, you lot just stay there, hold my beer, and I'll see you in a bit.
What about the space games, Ben? Have you been playing any space games this week?
I've been playing 0 space games.
Amazing.
I've played.
That's
yeah,
fair.
I've had no space game of any sort. It's the only things I've played. Not even Christ. I've not even played any RimWorld. It's literally been.
It's a bit Moorish, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been Baldur's Gate and a couple of hours of Minecraft.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, and Roblox, but that I don't count that. That's an obligation rather than playing.
Fair. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Cool. So fun week then.
I've had a lot of fun, just very little spacey things.
That's fair. It's not a problem. Alec, how are you doing, mate? How's your week been?
Right, I'm hot.
Mm-hmm.
In some radical news, or what passes for radical news in this day and age, I have played neither Baldur's Gate nor Starfield. I have instead been playing some old game called Elite Dangerous, which is quite good. Don't know if you've heard of it.
I'm vaguely aware. Vaguely aware.
What I do in real life, I've been out to garden centres a lot. It seems the last weekend, mostly to eat either very nice lunches or big slap up breakfasts, and then not buy any plants or anything. Yeah.
That's the way that garden
Yeah,
centres should be
that's the
treated.
way they
Someone
do these days.
explain this to me, because I have noticed garden centres always seem to have nice restaurants attached to
Yeah,
them.
they do.
Why? How?
Because a lot of garden centres will tend to be pretty proud of the way that they look, and it can be like a venture out to be amongst plant life and all of that sort of stuff. But also, it's a good place for people who are of a certain age. I'm including myself in that age. I should let you know right now.
I mean, it's a good family outing. The kids can run
yeah.
around a bit, and adults can pretend to browse and buy stuff. And really, you're just going to have a slap out breakfast. But yeah,
You're gonna get some cream tea or something.
Yeah.
Or a lot of them will allow dogs as well. That's a big thing for
That's
me.
true.
Is that you can take your dog. You're not too worried about going there and not being able to take your dog and that kind of thing. We've taken Artie to a couple of garden centres near ours and had something to eat there. It's an adult thing to do. Apparently, you get to a certain age and rather than go to a pub, you go to a garden centre.
In fact, we're not dog owners, but the one of the garden centres we go to has started this puppy pound thing. So they have this little sort of fenced-in area, and people are invited to bring their puppies along. And
that's
oh my god,
amazing.
it is so adorable. Me and my son always have to go and swing past the puppy pound and see what's going on there. It's great. In game, as people might have gathered from my intro, I've been going round and round Pareco. And then I had a mental breakdown and decided I decided I was either going to have a mental breakdown or I needed to step away from Pareco. So I made a conscious effort to walk away. I've walked away from. I mean, I think probably my first ever walking away from a buckyball race deliberately, well before the end, and just thinking, I'm going to go insane if I do this anymore. And I have paid the price, and I'm in the 1 point club, but at least I have my sanity.
What price for sanity?
Oh yes, and I've been tinkering with ED Copilot a lot more, and I've created my first proper SRV time trial, which was a lot of fun. And it was really fun just doing all the instructions for each of the waypoints and then testing it, and then shifting the waypoint so it it drives nicely. So time trial should be coming out for full release soon with a bit of luck. So
That sounds really fun. It sounds like something I need to get my eye on.
We'll come on to it, but I've made a video about it as well because I liked it so much.
Oh, fantastic. Cool. Awesome. What have I been up to? I've been playing an awful lot of video games and not doing a huge amount else. We were supposed to be going to this dog show in Bristol on Saturday, but I had lots of problems with my physicality that fucked it for us. So we didn't go, and I was really gutted, and it was really, really sad. But on Sunday, this is time away from the computer. On Sunday, we went to a pub and had a pub lunch. And this pub, as like you were saying about little puppy pound garden thing for puppies, this pub had a specific fenced off area for dogs to play in, and there's a sign on the outside of this place that says this is a dog friendly play area, please keep your children on a leash. And I fucking love that. So yeah, it really felt like my place. The food was amazing, and it certainly made up for not being able to do what we did on what we were planning on doing on Saturdays. But so hopefully next year we'll be able to go to the dog show in Bristol, which I'm glad that we didn't go to, because Artie would definitely have won Waggiest Tail, which was what we were going to enter him for. So in game, I've been doing buckyball. That's all I've been doing in Elite. That's all I've been doing in Elite. outside of other games, I've obviously been playing in Faerun because that's what I do. But other games that I've been playing include, but are not limited to, No Man's Sky, and actually include and are limited to No Man's Sky, and a new game that was being incredibly hyped up and 20 years in the making, Starfield. Which, yeah, it's all right. That's my review. Yeah, it's all right. It's
I'll
all right,
have
game.
questions for that if we ever get round to it.
We can get round to it. We can certainly get round to it. Maybe we'll tag it on somewhere. Not right now, but like a comprehensive. If you want a comprehensive review after the 8 hours that I've played in it, I can give you one.
Have you only done 8? Apparently, it only gets good when you've done 12.
Yeah, only gets good when you've done 12. Great. Let me invest those 12 hours into it. No, I tell you what, I didn't enjoy it on Friday. I played it on Friday for the first time and I wasn't enjoying it because I have been spoiled with fantastic voice acting, fantastic animations where the characters aren't just deadpan looking straight at you, and all of that kind of beautiful stuff in other RPGs that have been released that I absolutely adore, and I have been spoiled by these amazing performances, and everything in Starfield felt flat.
Mikey, interesting.
And then on Monday, I met a character whose voice sounded kind of hot. So now I'm invested. Yeah, in Starfield.
I'm seeing a theme with your RPG.
Yeah. There's a pattern. There's a pattern. There's a pattern. It's the Garrus effect from Mass Effect. It's that thing. If they're not a pale elf, they kind of, yeah, no. I was like, okay, so I found one character whose story I am vaguely invested in, and I think I might be able to flirt with. Also, coupled with the fact that the voice actor for them on Twitter was talking about how they were bisexual because some
Elias.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the voice actor was saying on Twitter about them being bisexual when someone was like kicking off with the fact that their male character had the option to flirt, you don't have to accept that, and then like projecting that this character was actually straight, and he retweeted saying, actually I played Sam as bisexual, and that warmed my queer heart to no end, so now I have to try and romance this character in Starfield, and that is the only reason I'm playing. No Man's Sky, there's a new expedition out, and that is very, very scan heavy. So yeah, there's lots to do in space games at the moment, which is nice.
I didn't realise there was a new expedition out,
it's there's 6 weeks left of it. It's a long. I was going to say it's a long one, but I know what you guys are like. It's a longer expedition. There's a lot of it's got to focus on exploration. So there's quite a lot of scan this many things or find a creature which has this level of aggression or can survive in this low temperature. So there's a lot of like dotting around and trying to find bits, but I played a good 4 hours of it, four and a bit hours of it today, and really enjoyed it. So and that's why I play No Man's Sky, is for these expeditions. My main save just like lingers. So there's that. But those are the things that I've been doing this week. I'm aware that I have rambled a lot. I'm very, very warm. Let's move on to our development news. What have the devs said this week? The only things that the devs have said this week is that they cancelled Frameshift Live, which gave us a bit of pause because we were real looking forward to talking about it this week. But there's illnesses. I think they just come back from Gamescom.
Yeah, I mean, we were feeling rough after ECM, and they went straight from ECM to Germany for Gamescom. So
I had to have a week off after ECM, so yeah, I feel it entirely. So that would have killed me. Holy crap. So hopefully we'll get a confirmation of if at all they're going to do it, or they're just going to make a more sort of bumper show on the next one. I don't know when the next one is supposed to happen.
Oh, there was a timetable somewhere, wasn't there?
They did it on this schedule. I'll try and I'll try and find it.
It's going to be like the thing with trains when they never cancel the 8:40, but the 8:10 ends up leaving at 8:40, and then you all kind of go, "Hang on a minute, you've cancelled a train and not."
So it says that the next stream's in 9 days. So I should imagine.
Oh, they'll just
I
do
should
that.
imagine
Just
that there's
drop
not. They're just going to drop it, and that's fair enough. If people are ill, people are ill. What can you do? So yeah, don't have a lot of dev news to talk about this week, unfortunately, but we do have some community news. So smooth, such a smooth segue. I'm glad that I pointed it out so it didn't look forced.
Slick. What is the community news this week?
Well,
pray tell.
Pray tell.
Hark.
we have there's been some cracking stuff come out this week. Holy crap.
Yeah.
We've got Spectre Elite's The Complete Story of Elite Dangerous video.
Has anyone else seen this? I'm only about halfway through it.
I've watched a bit of it. I've watched a little bit of it, but I've seen people's reactions to it being, oh my god, this is really cool.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a half-hour, really in-depth, quite fast-paced, but really nicely written. I think he only stumbles over his words once in the entire half hour, which is pretty damn impressive. Recap of most of Elite Dangerous's history, in-game history. It's good. It's detailed. I guess I'd be curious on someone like Wotherspoon's take. It seems good to me. The only thing I did notice is there was a very brief mention of the Klaxian Eresrian split. So some unofficial lore has sort of crept into it a bit, but he barely touches on that. So
okay.
I'm guessing most of it's pretty solid. It's a good listen anyway.
Cool. We'll keep an eye out for that. I'll watch a bit more of that when I get an opportunity.
Actually, you could if people sort of I don't know. I tend to rip this stuff and stick it on my iPad. The visuals are nice, but they're completely non-essential. So you could just listen to this one. You don't need to watch it.
Cool. Awesome. Ones that you do need to watch, however, Protocop has released another video, which is Traveling, I Forget How to Breathe. It is absolutely beautiful. I am in love with this guy's work. It's so different in comparison to everything else.
Yeah,
that is out.
His own style. I really like if people watch these, particularly. I did love this one. I confess I had a slight thing of thinking that it has this lovely transition effect where everything sort of bleeds out and then fades in and fades out, and it's really lovely. And I've not seen anyone else do it. And he uses it on everything, and I don't blame him. I would too, because it looks fantastic. But this is like the third or fourth video using that style. But actually, I really recommend people read the video descriptions, because he goes into a lot of detail on what he's tried to do new, and it made me rewatch it, because actually he's tried all sorts of things in this which I'd sort of missed.
There's some really cool things in this one. Extra bits and pieces, and I was really fascinated by the decisions that he'd made from like someone who I really enjoy using, like the editing process, like editing software, the same editing software that he uses clearly. But I really enjoy like playing with those effects, but I've never been able to really use them to a decent effect. Do you know what I mean? I've never been able to apply them in the way that that he does.
Yeah.
So it just seems really. It seems like the way he's got it. He's perfected the technique, and I'm jealous, basically.
It's interesting, isn't it? There's because I tinker with making videos, but not very much. And I think there's two ways of doing these sort of things. You know, you can either really know your tool sets and your tools and be really skilled and knowledgeable about what they can do, or you can sort of find maybe hacks or unconventional workarounds to achieve things that could probably be done a lot easier. But you know, you've got the end result in mind, what you want to achieve, and how can he mentions sort of using, I think, VR or something to get a shot of a hand held up in front of his face, and that's really interesting. You know, it's a sort of creative way of picturing what you want to achieve and then thinking about how you can get that shot. Yeah, it's good stuff, isn't it?
Very good stuff. Very, very good stuff. Alec, you've done a full demonstration.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, so ED Copilot, it can do lots of things. So I might make some other videos, but I'm really excited about this time trial feature. I can't lie. And so I wanted to promote it. So I made a video. Basically, I deliberately went a few jumps away. And then I open up the interface and I show a time trial list and I pick one I want to do, and it plots me a route, and then it tells me as I'm flying there, it tells me about fuel scooping and how many jumps I've got left and all that sort of stuff. And then it guides me to the planet, and then it guides me down to the surface, and then it instructs me how to get to the start line, and I just wanted to get all of that in one nice, reasonably short video to demonstrate it and sell it. Because I think when you see it and you see how sort of slick it all is, it really sells it. It's really good. Um, the only thing with sort of doing a whole sequence like that, videoing an entire 10-minute sequence, is you're desperately hoping you don't screw up. So I was quite pleased I managed to do the time trial reasonably well. And the other thing I've done is there's a profanity filter that you can turn off, which I have done, so it does swear at you occasionally, which is quite funny. And you can also give it a list of names you would like it to call you. So things like Sir and Commander and things go down are pretty standard stuff. But occasionally I've got my ED Copilot also calls me you mad bastard occasionally. And it didn't happen, but I was really hoping that at the end of this 10-minute video, I would complete the time trial and it would say, "Congratulations, you mad bastard." But it didn't.
That's so cool. That's so cool. That's super inclusive as well. We stand an inclusive queen. That's amazing. I love
Anyway,
that.
we'll include that in the show notes because, yeah, I want people to see this and I want them to install this and get really excited about time trials because
Yeah, I'm very excited about giving this a go at some point.
every leaderboard has got Razafrag, who's the developer on it, me on it, and a couple of other blokes who it's got 4 of us on every leaderboard, and I'd like to see them start filling up with lots
For
of other people.
sure.
So the leaderboards, you can sort of pick a trial at a particular location to take part in then?
Yeah, so we've got about a dozen time trials at the moment, and they show in a list. The sorting of the list isn't quite right yet. He's working on that at the moment, but they will sort by how far they are from you, I think, is probably the best way to do it. So it'll tell you how many light years to each time trial and how many light seconds within that system to the start. And then you just click on one and then it shows you the leaderboard. And there's a little play button and you hit the play button and it does everything else that it needs to do from there.
That's really, really impressive. I mean,
And when you finish, if you've beaten your personal best, then it just adds your time to the leaderboard for
do you
all
know,
to see.
Like the only thing would be if they could add in like the augmented reality element that you almost get off of the materials helper, but that uses something different to sort of target
it'd be nice
the menu screen, doesn't it? So it's not really possible in the SRV, but
so 2 things. So what it does is when you're actually driving around, there's a little mini bar that pops up over your Elite Dangerous at the top. You can position it and size it. So it's like a stay on top window. And that's got the heading that you need to go to the next waypoint as a number, a degree heading. It's got a distance to the next waypoint, and it's actually got a little arrow that literally points. And then there's an instruction. So for each waypoint, when you create a time trial, you can type in a set of words that it will read out to the person when they hit that waypoint. So you can say, now turn right and head to the large building you can see in the distance, and when you get there, turn left between it and the next landing pad. That kind of thing, In practice, when you're sort of trying to get a decent time, what you tend to do is drive the first loop pretty slowly anyway, in which case those things are perfectly adequate to tell you the route. And to get a good time, you basically need to memorize it because you need to know exactly where you're going to get a good time. So it would be cool. I know what you're saying, Chris. It would be cool if there was like a holographic gate But in practice, and I bet a lot of other people that do racing in other games and things will probably agree with this. By the time you get good enough to be putting good times down, you almost don't need the gates because you know exactly where you need to go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm speaking as an absolute amateur that definitely does not know which way I'm going.
So what it's got is good enough to guide you around the course to learn it.
That's good news.
Yeah.
That's good news.
yeah,
I also need a
photographs
person walking in front of the SRV with a flag just to
With a red
warn
flag.
people nearby. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, awesome. I really look forward to doing it and like getting it installed and seeing it working. That'd be really interesting.
My only worry now is I can see myself only doing this for the next, just going round and round these time trials, making sure I'm at the top of every leaderboard.
Oh no! You created a monster of you're hoisted by your own petard kind of thing.
It's all I want to do at the moment.
So you were like, Pareco's too much. However, what I'm going to do now is this.
Okay. This is not a promise, but I'm sure Razafrag won't mind me saying this. We were chatting this morning about other things it could do. So he has done a space time trial where you have to. It sounds like a bit of a buckyball. You've got to fly to an outpost and then down to a planet, and so it's all that sort of good stuff. And it can time that as well. And he was talking about encoding other rules that we use in buckyball races. And he happened to mention, and I can't imagine where he got this idea from, the idea of flying around a set number of stations in a fixed time limit and seeing how many landings you could do.
Why would you even think about something like that?
So it
That's
is
never been done
possible
before.
that in the future we may have Pareco as an automated leaderboard update,
Oh
automated
my god, that's
leaderboard
amazing.
time trial, which would be pretty cool.
That would be absolutely amazing. That sounds great. Wonderful. Moving on. Scorb has released the Aftermath supercut. So he's got it 4K 60 FPS. The full version. It's about just over half an hour long. It's great. It's great. What else can we fucking say about it? It's so good. He's done such a good
I haven't
job.
watched the whole thing, yeah.
Have you not?
Well, I've watched it in its 3 bits, but I haven't watched the full.
Yeah, I think he tweeted out about it. I was like, it's perfect for you to play on your television. So I'm like, okay, great, cool. Let's find half an hour where I can rewatch that again. But yeah, it's there. It's all for those of you who've been hanging on. I know Colin was hanging on about to watch the whole thing together. Well, now you can. So there you go. There you have it. It's available. And linked in the show notes, along with everything else. Pareco run finished. It was good. I am tired of watching videos about the Pareco run. It was really fun. It was a really, really good race. I had a lot of fun doing it. I panicked when I realized I'd not done it one day or something. I hadn't done it one day, and I looked, and the amount of submission has gone up by like 30. I was like, shit.
Yeah, you have to keep on top of it when you're organising, don't you? Because
Pareco run needs to be kept on top of because you get so many. Because it's such an accessible race that like lots of people like do multiple runs. There's a couple of bits and pieces where I might have missed something out. I need to go back into it and double check. It doesn't affect the top 3 on each spot. So our top 3 in the Regulation Cobra are Skur in number 1 with 16 stops. The only person who managed 16 stops.
16. It's insane. It's not possible. I don't know how.
Like I have seen it and I still don't believe it's possible.
Okay.
Like I watched it so many times and like checked out so many times and I was like, I cannot believe that this is possible. And then we have Brewski, who did it in 15, in 20 minutes and 21 seconds. And then Cookie Hole. It's my race that brought Cookie Hole back, all right? Remember that. He did it in 15 stops in 2046. There were, I don't think it's on this one. No, that's on the Unlimited. And the Unlimited is topped by Shay, because of course it is, in his Viper with 20 stops, and then Sker in his Eagle with 20 stops, and then Aiken Bosch in his Viper with 19 stops in 2032. There are people who did it in the exact same time with the exact number of spots, but it is so close at the top. Like the 19s are all so close. The 19 stops. It's cracking.
It's crazy.
Really good.
I'm just looking at the times, and like if 20, 21, yeah, if Sulu had like gone 3 seconds faster, he would have jumped 5 places.
Exactly. It's bonkers. It's like the F1 at the moment. I think qualifying there was like 2 seconds in the F1 between all of the cars, and it's kind of like the people at the top in Pareco for sure, because it's one that we've done over and over again, because it is like a buckyball favorite, and it's a very, very, very different to a lot of the rest of the races that we do.
The thing is, there's nowhere to hide. Like with some of the
Yeah.
races, if you're behind, you can go, do you know what? Maybe if I re-engineer this ship differently, or maybe if I try less fuel and I try a different route, and you try different things. But in this race, it's like, no, I just need to go faster.
For sure.
That's
For
the
sure,
only
I just
thing.
need to get my head in the game, and then I'm good. There's that kind of thing constantly. I was so sure I could, like, if I'd have allowed myself a little bit more time, I reckon I could have got 15. I reckon I could have got 15 stops. But I mean, and the Regulation Cobra, I'm in 1 point club on this one, with 14 stops. But it was all really, really close, and people gave it a really good shot, and I think that's friggin' awesome. I can't help but notice that Chris said that he was going to do it, and I got no submission from him.
Do it. I'm so sorry. I
am
ran out of
hurt.
time. And do you know what? The thing is,
My heart hurts, Chris.
I watched you
You
do
love
it.
me, is this
I
what-
was in your chat, and I was like, "This is the entry level one, isn't it?" It's like, yeah. This is the entry level one, idiot. I'm like, yeah. I'll do it. And then I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I'm a fool. I'm sorry.
In your defense, you were playing fantasy games.
In my defense, I did end up playing Baldur's Gate 3 because I don't know, it's been subliminally put in my head over the period of the last, 3-4 weeks.
Where you got the idea to play Baldur's Gate?
I don't talk about it at all.
Not ever. Not ever. I don't know why you assumed I was talking about you. So it's... but yeah, no, I genuinely... I completely forgot, and then by the time I remembered, I was like, and it's going to be done, isn't it? So
yeah, it is.
Unfortunately, it was that. I will blame the fact that I was in recovery on Saturday, but that is no excuse.
I will allow a hangover for sure. That's not a problem. And for once, I will allow you to be hungover. It's not a problem at all. Hey, if you have a community event taking place soon and you would like for us to talk about it across the airways, or if you've got something really special coming up and you want to come on and talk about it, let us know. Tweet us at Lave Radio, or you can email info@laveradio.com, or give any number of us a shout, and we'll see what we can do with those kind of things. That would be cracking. Hey, can we run some adverts and then come back with some in-game events?
Sure can.
Established in 3223 as a haulage company, Takata made the bold decision to recruit and train its own security forces. Over the years, a series of highly effective laser weaponry was also developed to support these security teams, and they garnered galactic critical acclaim. The TK Zenith, a burst-fire pistol that can strip shields in no time. The TK Eclipse, a rapid-fire carbine for close-up thermal destruction. And the TK Aphelion Assault Rifle, a powerful and precise weapon of total shield destruction. On the battlefield, you know what's needed. Takada.
Protecting settlements from villainous scum, it's Settlement Patrolman. the action figure every child wants. Wearing the all-new Manticore Dominator suit with light-up jump assist thrusters. Press his backpack to hear Settlement Patrolman speak.
Not seen you around here before, Commander. Is that a Karma P15 in your pocket, or are you just pleased to see me? Hey, don't point that at me.
When alarms sound, Settlement Patrolman rides into action in his surface reconnaissance vehicle with pop-up turret and glow-in-the-dark wheel trims. Settlement Patrolman. Surface reconnaissance vehicle and action figure sold separately. Available from branches of Lave Toy Depot and other retailers. Microelectrode, ion battery, and circuit switch not included.
New from Azimuth Biotech, it's Tickle Me Thargoid. Tickle Me Thargoid is fun for all the family. Teach your little anti-Xeno commander the difference between an Orthrus and a Cyclops, a Basilisk and a Medusa.
Count the hearts. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a Cyclops.
All Tickle Me Thargoids spray realistic caustic clouds.
Not near the curtains. I love you, Tickle Me Thargoid.
Tickle Me Thargoid. Available now from branches of Lave Toy Depot and other retailers.
And welcome back. Cool. In-game events. What's happened this week in game? On Thursday, the 31st of August, we had. We had.
What just happened?
You okay?
Don't worry, Kate. You sent me something that I shouldn't have read.
Katie, what are you doing?
Hey. We're gonna need to cut this bit out. Okay.
I'm leaving it in. I'm leaving it all in. Stop giving me work. I need this to be perfect. I don't have time to edit this week.
Yeah, you know what? Leave it in. It's fine. Thursday, we had human presence causes Thargoid withdrawal. So basically, where they were saying that Thargoids were, they fucked off now because so many people went over there.
So in other words, the Thargoids are a little bit shy.
Well, only those Thargoids, not the ones that are eating people.
Is this... this is the thing. This is the system with the Thargoid Guardian battleground.
Yeah.
And there was the Galnet story about people being hyperdicted, and then people went there, and not a single player managed to get hyperdicted because there never were any bleeding Thargoids in this system. And this is Galnet now saying there aren't any Thargoids because we've. But in truth, there weren't any bleeding Thargoids in this system ever for us to experience. I don't think, were there?
I would say that is.
This
very much
smells
the
a bit
truth.
like Frontier covering their tracks rapidly
sure.
with the Galnet.
Oh, lads, we fucked up.
Are you playing the game of bug or feature, Alec? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes, this week instead of log or deer, it's bug or feature.
Bug or feature. Vote now.
Amazing. Yeah, so basically they're not there. That or as Razafrag in chat is saying, it was basically a signal boosting that something is there, but then there's still not. Really, I mean, it's not something that we've not seen before.
Yeah.
Unless
there is. I tell
something.
you, there's a very good reason to go there because there's an ED co-pilot time trial there that's well worth doing.
ED co-pilot is ED co-pilot's Alex Baldur's Gate.
It could be.
I think it might be.
Although you can't fuck anyone in it yet.
Well, I mean, give it time. Razafrag, I've got notes.
I don't know, it sounds like it kind of fucks you, frankly.
Okay. This is going to be very, very heavily featured in our main discussion. So we probably won't play them right now. In fact, we won't play them right now. On Thursday, the 31st of August, also around the time when Frameshift Live was supposed to drop, we got some in-game messages that appeared on a relog from the with the truth about the vanishing, which we will play in a little bit for you. But they're very, very good and interesting, and we will touch on them a little bit more. On the 1st of September, so the following day, we had the Galnet talking about these revelations, and it's titled "Aegis Link Confirms Vanishing Populations." In Starfield, they pronounce Aegis, and it does my head in. Anyway.
Wow, what is it in Starfield? Is it an agency of some sort?
It is an agency of some sort. I'm trying to remember what it is because I found the one guy that I was kind of interested in, and then I fucked off. So yeah, but they people mention Aegis, and it grips my shit. Something chronic.
You say potato, I say potato.
Well, I'll say Aegis, and everybody else should say Aegis because that's how it's pronounced.
I want to say Aegis now. Damn it!
Say Aegis as much as you like. That's fine. That's fine. I'll correct you every single time. Yeah. So it's just like talks about them being released, talked about the leaks and those kind of things. And then on the 1st of September as well, like spread them out, lads. We got the materials received to construct the Duval statues in a show of humility. In a full show of humility and in this time of war and crisis, everything has been delivered that was needed to be delivered for the Duvals to have their big golden statues that they wanted. And that was a thing. And then today we had a Galnet saying that Wargrass are going to probe Rackham's past.
Ooh,
Mrs. The Federal Times has hired the Warglass Investigations Agency. Those are the same people who were doing some research into Azimuth Biotech. They after saying that he was a pirate, they're still saying he's a pirate, so they're still looking into him. Basically, so that'll be fun. Nothing like a little bit of political intrigue to fill our Galnet with.
Funny, I'm trying to skim this quickly to see if I've got any comments on it because I've just realised that I haven't actually read the original text of this. I've only read the one that I asked Chat GPT to turn into ridiculous pirate speak, so I don't know what the original actually says.
I wish there'd been enough time to send it over to Pete and get a pirate Galnet News Digest for this week after I read that.
Yeah, I had a random idea today, folks, and I asked. It was quite funny because I asked ChatGPT to turn this particular Galnet article into pirate speak, and it did a very minimal sort of a very minimal job on it. So then I love that you can do this sort of thing with ChatGPT. I then said something like, "Could you do that a bit more extreme?" And it had another go. And then I just said to ChatGPT, "No, really go for it." And it understood exactly what I meant and came out with full-on pirate. It was fantastic.
More pirate puns, please. I just go, sure. What else would you like?
Amazing. So that's the news this week. Does anyone have any comments? We've got comments coming, but anything about the Warglass Rackham's past stuff? We've covered it quite a bit, haven't we?
Yeah.
The only thing I was going to say about the truth about the vanishing messages, which I know we're going to cover in more detail, was that I'm not sure I would have noticed them in my inbox had people not been talking about it. In fact, I went to my game the next day thinking, I must find these messages, and initially thought, I haven't got them. And I had to dig, and they're buried inside. I'd already got the logs from something else recently, and they were inside the folder with those. It was like...
It's in the discovered logs folder, yeah. I was really annoyed because I just finished stream and I saw them pop up. Well, right. I saw people in different Discords talking about them, and I was like, well, I didn't see any. I'd just been buckyballing all the time. And you had to relog for them to even show up. And I was just like, that's the most frustrating thing. I wish it had been like just maybe a cheeky like an inbox thing going, go to this place and check out a beacon, and you'll get all of it. And like somewhere in the bubble saying like, go check this place out. I've got a beacon that you can go and have a look at. And I was just like, yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to have seen that before I finished, because I love and they're voice acted as well, and
I'm trying to think if the little icon at the top of my comms panel hadn't lit up or something. I sort of feel like
I mean,
my attention
I
wasn't drawn to it.
logged in today for the first time, as I've already said, and it was coming up with, you have 3 out of 3 messages to read.
Oh, okay. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I had that.
Yeah, it did come up, and I had a little "you've got mail" kind of thing. But I'm just wondering if you were on. I don't know if the game can push mail to you while you're.
Well, you get it
logged
from
in, maybe?
missions and things, don't you? But
Yeah,
I don't know if
they've
it's the
done it
same
before.
mechanism.
Yeah.
They've done it before. We've had stuff drop in before. I just wonder why it didn't do it this time. If it did, I didn't notice it. I should really mention the first salvation message just dropped in. Katie saying, "Yeah, it absolutely did." I should mention, if we're talking about voice logs and voice acting, I found out something really interesting today. And yes, this is going to be Baldur's Gate 3 coded. And not today. I found out something really interesting over the weekend, in that the absolutely incredible voice actor Neil Newborn, who plays Astarion in Baldur's Gate 3 and Isaac in Deliverer's Mars, and has made me cry multiple times this year. And he plays other characters, Heisenberg in Resident Evil, and 2 different characters in Detroit Become Human, among many other games, including a little space game by the name of Elite Dangerous, which I discovered through watching his streams and he's got like a promo roll that he does, and it's got an Elite Dangerous logo at the end of it. And I was like, holy fuck, who does he play in Elite Dangerous? He's fucking Commander Jameson.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's Commander Jameson in Elite.
Wow.
So
the Cobra logs.
Yeah. Jameson's Cobra.
That whole "Hey Kiddo" stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he's made me cry for years.
Yeah. Because I know that whole "Hey Kiddo" thing got to me.
Yeah. Also, his kid was really young when he was recording that. So, but he's also done, he did other voices for the game as well. So now I have to find them. But
you're not being at all creepy here, Claire.
I'm 100. Yeah, I'm 100% being creepy. I'm 100% being creepy. This is an amazing voice actor that I want to support all of the work for. And
that is all.
Yeah. That is all. It's good stuff. It's good stuff, but I can believe that. And then going back and listening to it now, it's like, oh shit, yeah, no, that's definitely him. Putting on his like American accent. So yeah, interesting little tidbit that combines Baldur's Gate and Elite Dangerous. Also the voice of the narrator is Amelia Tyler is also in Elite Dangerous as well. So there's a couple of crossovers there.
She's the woman who was on the Frontier stream, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. I think she might be one of the female voices of the Covert, if I'm not very much mistaken. I think I keep hearing her in my Covas. Or I'm delusional and I'm just hearing her all the time now because of.
It could be both.
Why not both? Anyway, that's the end of the in-game events. So it must mean it's that time of the week again.
Store alert!
And we're back. We have some We do have some paint jobs. We've got some paint jobs for the Furderlands, which are actually quite nice.
These are nice. If I didn't hate the Furderlands, I'd love them.
I don't think
good.
Yeah, little like kind of racing skins because they've got a number on them, but they're kind of pretty.
Yeah, it's just the Furrylands just does nothing for me.
Yeah, I don't like it very much.
It looks good from this angle. Actually,
looks very kind of
I
sleek.
mean, but it does. Looks a bit sort of like a fast Python.
It looks like a fast Python. Yes. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. The thing...
Oh, is it? That's cool. Commander the Strike.
X-38, yeah.
X-38, is that where the 38 comes from? Cool.
Cool. I think... I found the social media post that went out was a bit strange with it because they talked about it being where use this paint job when you're out exploring.
In a Furrylands?
Mm-hmm. Let me see if I can. Like the Elite Dangerous account doesn't tweet very often, so let me see. Let me see if I can find it. I'm sure it says something along the lines of exploration. I was like, are you sure?
Destroy your enemies, looking stylish in the new Furderlands paint job.
With the new with the new slimline Furderlands paint job.
Look zoomy as you kill people.
Yeah, here we go. Whichever part of the galaxy you're exploring, make sure you capture the moment in style with the sortie paint job for the Furderlands. I was like, why are you exploring in the Furderlands?
In the Furderlands?
With a racing paint job.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
When you've completed everything else in game.
Jeez.
Are we playing? Is it another game of bug or feature here? I think.
No, because somebody wrote that.
Are you
Yeah,
sure?
what they meant to write was while you're out ganking explorers.
Yeah. when you're out just like beating up people, beating up those noobs. I mean, you can do that in anything nowadays, but yeah.
I think Wintermute's got the answer. You're exploring how to destroy the enemy.
Just explore how to destroy the enemy with the new Furderland sortie. Yours for just, I don't know, X amount of arcs.
Probably 1650 arcs or something.
Something like that, maybe. 3,000 arcs. I don't know. I'm picking numbers out of the thing. While you're out beating the enemy, do it with racing stripes. The Furderland sortie. Number 38. Yeah, but that said, it's very pretty. I'm not being a complete bitch about it. It's a pretty skin. I don't like the Furderlands for the reason that you're offset in the cockpit. I'm fine with it in the Python. That doesn't bother me that much. But it's that asymmetrical bar. Yeah.
You've got the bar down the side. It's like, no.
It's a while since I've been in the cockpit. Is there 2 seats?
Yeah, I think so.
Right. And you're both side by side, and because it's quite a small cockpit, surely.
I think the thing with all Elite Dangerous cockpits is once you sort of measure them out, it is like you're flying in a conservatory, isn't it? It's like a massive greenhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody forgets the scale of Elite Dangerous, even us, when we have thousands and thousands of hours in the game. It is still unknown to us. It's a bad time. Right, I think we're going to take a few more adverts and then we'll come back with our main discussion where we will be talking about the lore stuff. Yeah, cool, great.
Hey Commanders, this is Mick from Crazy Mick's Reptile Emporium and Warehouse. Due to a hysterical ordering mishap and not reading the fine print, I'm currently in possession of over 10,000 snakes. Many of which are deadly, so everything must go. We have anacondas, asps, cobras, diamondbacks, furtlants, keelback, kraits, mambas, pythons, sidewinders and vipers, none of which are capable of spaceflight without being strapped to a rocket. Need a pet for your cockpit? Buy a snake. Need to scare your mother-in-law and give her a heart attack for the insurance money? Buy a snake. Need to fill a beluga full of snakes to assassinate a witness on their way to a Federation courthouse? Buy many snakes. Bulk discounts are available at Crazy Mick's Reptile Emporium and Warehouse. You can find us in the Lave Business Directory or visit us at the former site of Sensible Michael's Shipyard and Outfitting Warehouse. Will somebody get these mother snakes out of my mother warehouse?
Swift, sleek, powerful by design. Zorgon Peterson gives you the edge, the strength, and the confidence in any battle. With 4 medium hard points, 1 huge hard point, you have all the firepower you need. 6 utility mounts lets you max your shields any way you want. Engineer those thrusters for infinite boost, and then turn, twist, and keep the enemy in your crosshairs. You choose the engagement, you win the engagement. In a third alliance, everyone fears you. It's the meta, because there's nothing better.
From the creators of luggage limpets and passenger lounge suitcase shuttles comes the latest revolution in passenger transportation. The passenger cannon. For centuries, circus performers have perfected the technique of being fired from a cannon. Paired with our new memory gel passenger pod impact absorption technology, you too can speed up disembarkation times from your liner by up to 250%. No longer be limited by pad sizes and excessive docking fees with the passenger cannon. But how does it all work? First, all passengers will be issued with a passenger pod inflation suit during transit. On approach to your passenger's destination, simply fill the inflation suit with our patented impact-absorbing memory gel. Then, once in a stable position in proximity to the destination, effortlessly slide them into the disembarkation chamber ready for launch. The passenger cannon is now available in both gimbaled and turreted varieties to make aiming elementary. Make your liner one of the top 1% in the galaxy. Buy a passenger cannon today. Warning, passenger cannon must not be operated on high-gravity planets or near geysers.
And we're back. We're back with more we're going to talk about the in-game messages that came through to us, the truth about the vanishing. If you haven't picked up on these already, I guess spoiler alert, but we're about to play them, so you can catch up with them in real time. But Chris, if you can take it away and play them, that'd be crack-a-lackin', my love.
Okay, let's see if this works, because it is a little bit of an experiment, everyone, which will never,
so excited.
Ever go wrong.
The information comes from a source I trust. I've combed the data for errors in their calculations. It seems frighteningly accurate.
We've known about these rumors for years now. What's changed?
This goes far beyond the occasional escape pod collected by Thargoid ships, Aiden.
Let me make sure I'm understanding the premise. Some analyst has compared the total population of Thargoid-invaded systems with the official refugee counts.
Correct.
Then subtracted combat casualties, intercepted transports, and people killed during port attacks. The official estimates, at least.
Along with other variables. Not all refugees pass through the rescue ships. Some of those don't register as safe. Others fled as soon as the Maelstrom signals were first sighted.
And a dozen other points, I'm sure. But ultimately, the final totals don't quite match up.
Even with a margin for error, we're looking at tens, maybe hundreds of millions of people unaccounted for. And the figure's rising each week. If they're not dead, and they didn't escape, then captivity must be the answer.
I've never known the Thargoids to keep prisoners. It doesn't quite seem their style.
They'd have to construct a method to house organisms of a different biochemical makeup. That would only be worthwhile if the captives were deemed important.
We did the same for studying live specimens.
I'm going to assume you mean the historical we, Admiral. Aegis doesn't capture Thargoids for research purposes. Just one of the many distinctions between us and INRA.
We as in the human race, yes. My point is that surely the aliens have had plenty of opportunity to study us by now. If what you're saying is true, and the Thargoids are abducting millions of people, well, there's a grander plan here than research. One that we need to figure out.
I suppose it's too much to hope that the Thargoids will treat our people more considerately than INRA treated theirs.
Honestly, it'd be a wasted prayer to ask that much.
Oh, we'll have to manage how this information is shared. Of course, it will need to reassure people that we're doing everything we can to locate the missing.
Just to play devil's advocate for a second, are mass abductions something we need to go public with?
Yes, I think so. With numbers this high, it would be cowardly to pretend we don't know what's going on.
I'm not sure all of Aegis's finances will agree.
We've been given the authority to make firm decisions for ourselves. Besides, I'd rather be in trouble for telling the truth than lying.
I couldn't agree more. I'll back you up if needed, but I suggest being economical with that truth. Think about it. Aegis announces millions have been captured alive for unknown reasons. It'll scare the crap out of the trillions listening.
Unknown reasons. We have to find out why the Thargoids are taking so many people. I'm not looking forward to the answers.
Your rivals are going to spin any press statement too. Torben Rademacher will be on every newsfeed, telling people that Azimuth would never have allowed this to happen, without going into details, obviously.
Screw Torben. He can play politics all he likes. Scoring points in the face of a major humanitarian tragedy is just his style. But then, he did learn from the best. Oh, this is horrible.
They're harvesting us.
Saul? For goodness sake! This is a private conversation. Why are you on comms?
Sounds like it isn't just the Thargoid she listens to.
Shut down your comms link until I can find someone to secure it.
I said they're harvesting us as a resource. You wanted to know why the Thargoids are abducting people. I think I can help figure out the answer.
Ugh. If we're going to talk, you may as well come to my office. We'll discuss this in person.
No. I want to be alone. There's a lot of noise today.
Okay. What type of resource are we to them? Food? Fuel?
We have no evidence the Thargoids view us as edible, any more than we do them.
Not food, not fuel. It's more accurate to say the Thargoid race has a purpose for us. One which is giving me some real shitty dreams. The noise changed a few weeks ago. But it wasn't until you mentioned millions of people vanishing that the new melody made sense.
What do you mean by melody?
Soar's connection to the Thargoid telepathic network doesn't include an understanding of their language. Aegis is working with her to establish a method of interpreting what she sees and hears.
Describing parts of the Thargoid noise like music helps. I can pinpoint certain notes and melodies, even different instruments. Sometimes images appear. The sound is still awful and triggers emotions which are harder to process. But focusing reduces the chaos of it all.
And you say this noise is different to when the invasion started?
Yes. The original buzz grew louder as the Maelstrom signals approached the bubble. It announced the invasion, drawing their fleets. When the Maelstroms arrived, I understood that the Thargoids would claim as many star systems and destroy as many ports as possible. Territory was the only goal. Now there is a different melody underneath it. An image keeps repeating, what looks like tunnels and caves. Rows and rows of what I thought were eggs.
Saur mentioned these eggs to me before, and it's logical to assume that the Thargoids have a method of replenishing their war casualties.
But there was never any sense of compassion or protection. Maybe Thargoids are just bad parents. But now I think it's because the eggs aren't eggs. They're pods. Containers for humans. If I focus on that concept, the noise is less abrasive. That's usually a sign that I'm understanding something in the alien broadcaster.
Phew. This is a lot to take in. Do you think these pods are on the Titans?
Yes. And the people inside are important to the next phase of Thargoid invasion. I'm sure of it.
Okay. I don't understand how that brain of yours works, kid, but the information you've given us up to now has been solid. Alba, you said earlier that Aegis is autonomous now, correct?
Within reason? Why?
Because I'm not interested in waiting months for approval from the superpowers. Let's go with Saw's music. Can you have your people develop a way to recover pods from a Titan if we can figure out where they're being stored?
I'll see what I can do. But even if we design something suitable, it isn't going to be an easy mission. A ship would have to fly dangerously close to a Titan.
Our pilots have done incredible things so far. I learned long ago never to underestimate them. With the right tools, they'll figure out a way to get any job done. And if Saw's right, and these things contain human captives, well, we've got a lot of work to do.
So that just dropped in on Thursday without any prior information or anything along those lines.
Do you think that the cancelled Frontier livestream might have queued this up?
Yeah, I think last time we had the last live stream we had before this one had like something dropped literally as the stream went live.
Right.
There was a lore drop then. I feel like we might be able to pinpoint when we're going to get lore drops in the future based on when the live streams are.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out in 9 days, I guess.
I mean, it's fine. They obviously decided to just let it go anyway. It didn't need queuing up necessarily, particularly.
Yeah, it didn't really need signal boosting, but it was kind of frustrating that you had to log out and then log back in to see it. But that having said, I have thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
How? Let's go around and pick out things and extract what we feel. Extract as if one were extracting humans from a passenger ship. Things that we've taken on board from this, and things I think we feel we should take note. Ben, do you want to start off?
Okay. Does anybody think we're not getting human Thargoid hybrids in the next patch?
It seems highly likely, doesn't it, now?
I don't know if it's going to be the next patch
or
as such, but I think something is coming down the line for it. I would
love to be shocked. I'd love it to be something we just haven't thought of, but it seems unlikely. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be going that way, but I don't know. Like when they're talking about the resources, I mean, we've been taking out ships so far rather than ground resources, haven't we?
Yeah. So the talk about the tunnels and the stuff like that, and saying it needs to be you need like ships that are like can fly close to Thargoids. I like a lot of it is, to me at least, signaling a potential. Oh, they're going to give us a new type of limpet.
Absolutely, yes.
And that's all that we're going to get on the back of it initially, anyway.
Actually, I don't quite know how it would work, but I had a thought. It'd be quite interesting if there was an enhanced scanner where the Xeno pulse scanner thing, where we got targetable like limpet attachment points the other side of the yellow custard membrane.
Yeah.
And how if our limpets could go through but we couldn't, would solve a neat sort of problem for Frontier.
At least initially.
Disappointing, but I think that I can see that being possible. That what's going to happen is we're going to target things inside the Titan, and our limpets will go down through we'll have to basically fly our ships inside the maw, fire limpets through the membrane, and they will come back with humans.
For the beginning, at least, before the next wave happens or something along those lines. It's interesting. It's very interesting. I have a couple of personal highlights. One of them being absolutely, by all means, sound off in our chats as well. Anywhere, just we'll pick up what you're saying too. Love this to be a big all round conversation. A couple of bits that really, really stood out to me was the things where they're talking about the many distinctions between Egypt, where Tessero says just one of the many distinctions between us and INRA, which definitely like addresses those people who are like Ben included, who are like Aegis are the same as Inra.
I'm sorry, she is covering her ass and speaking.
Inra was so much worse than Aegis. You were so wrong with what you're saying. You were so wrong with why? This wasn't supposed to be broadcast. This isn't something that's supposed to be broadcast.
Everything that is said is
No, not at all. This is supposed to be private. Not at all. Even today, not at all. Even today, everything is recorded. This wasn't supposed to be broadcast. There is no point in her saying. Yeah, well, there's no point in her saying that.
You could phone me.
You really need to do your research on. You really need to do your research on Inra and Aegis, Ben.
I'm sorry, but even today, I could record a private phone call between you and I. Using my phone, or you could use your phone, and you wouldn't know about it.
The problem with that is that I'd never give you my number in the first place. So.
Well, there is that.
But it's sort of like it's kind of important to note that we're there's absolutely no reason. There's no reason for them to lie about that in this instance. There's clearly no reason for her to make a lie, and also the screw Torben bit really sits with me. And we have a canon way to pronounce Radiomaker, so I've got lots of things that I can talk. I really don't want Thargoid humans.
Yeah,
I really don't want it to
I just
happen.
think it's an easy way for Frontier to give us on-foot AX combat without giving us on-foot AX combats. It's a cheap win.
Who was it? Was it Burr who originally suggested the idea that there could be a kind of lead? Okay. So people may not have heard all of this. One interesting thing that I think Burr originally raised is that if we think about maybe the Thargoid model that was leaked several years ago now, it's sort of a tentacled insectoid beast, clearly quite tall, quite big, it's just not going to fit inside doorways and settlements, or the animation would be very awkward, I think, to have those things running around inside, and it would be a bit silly if they couldn't fit through the door and all we had to do to evade them was just run through the door and then stick our tongue out from inside. So he sort of raised a good point that if we want on foot combat, the Thargoid models are problematic, but there could be like a sort of insectoid Thargoid leading the troops, so that and it could be the idea maybe that even there are these sort of Thargoid controlled humans, but frankly, if you can get to the boss and kill the boss, then they all suddenly snap out of their sleep and go, oh, where was I?
So kind of like the combat around settlements and things, where you defeat the scout wave first, and then you get a few sort of lower level interceptors, and then you start working your way up towards Hydras. Is that you take out your Thargoid zombie humans, your first wave of them, and then the next wave comes, but there's also something nastier there. Yeah, I mean that could be the case. I mean I can't help but be a little bit disappointed if that becomes the sum total of it. And kind of the same with if we get, it's another limpet, everyone. That to me, there's kind of a little silly dream scenario in my head, which is us boarding the equivalent of a front line, which is made to breach the Titans. And you're all charging out onto a Titan within a limited corridor to get something. And in my head, I'm like, that would be awesome. And then my realistic part of my brain is going, it's a limpet, Chris.
That idea, Chris, would also resolve the whole I'm shit and I haven't done my prep work, so I can't even get there. So if you jump on some souped up Super Aegis adder, then that would resolve that whole issue, and it just brings it in for everybody again, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it means that you can have it in a sort of controlled environment. So rather than it being, like you say, Alec, we're fighting them in settlements where they're not designed to fit. Instead, we would be fighting whatever sort of Thargoid foe that you've got on their terms, potentially backed with zombie humans breaking out of pods.
Plus,
you're trying to rescue a certain number, get them back to the ship, and then get away. Like your protect the box type mission, modified to, to be a couple of different steps. But I'm probably on a bit of a road to nowhere with that kind of speculation.
So yeah, it's a limpet, but there's nothing to say that it's not going to be that in the future.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Exactly. And a crossover between what Alec's saying about like being able to penetrate the custard and get to the other side and do something within there as well is also a potential. So, that could kind of be your breach pod thing, and then you're firing limpets. The fact that down the line it might be, and we've discovered a way to break through or destroy another wall and fly a ship further in, is also
the thing is, and this is my sort of out of game kind of game breaking thing, and I've sort of said this before, that I personally don't think there's anything inside the Titan. As a 3D model, I think it's your classic sort of hollow shell. Looks great from the outside, but looks like a hideous wireframe from the inside. I don't think there's anything in there, but obviously Frontier want to convey that there's something in there, and so it's not great. But our limpets sort of plopping through that membrane and coming out with stuff sort of suggests that there's stuff inside there.
Yeah.
Frankly, that's what I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be limpets. I think they're going to go through the membrane, and that's going to be it for the Titan. We shall see. I'd love to be wrong.
So the other thing that was kind of interesting to me was the way Sarah was talking about it being like a melody, and that it's something that she's constantly hearing the noises from the things, and
I love that.
And talking like literally listening to it now and hearing more of the people in pods, and her hearing a melody, but her somehow being able to resist the melody or resist what the words were telling her, and like the instructions and the sinister tune that was underneath. All I could think was praise the absolute, which Ben, fully it's giving Thrall. It really is giving Thrall. I really wish it wasn't giving Thrall. Can
you explain that for people that don't understand what giving Thrall is?
Like a Thargoid controlled humans, basically.
Right, I see.
So like some kind of implementation to make them control the humans. Maybe the pods do have the facility to convert as well. Maybe the pods have like people are either released looking like people, or they're released looking a little bit more alien. And we go back to looking at previous situations where there have been I'm getting very, very headcanon-y here right now, so you're gonna have to bear with me. But previous situations where there's been articles longer ago about super soldiers, or with people who have seem to have superhuman abilities and getting past
Cult of Thargoid.
Well, getting past people to assassinate folks. You're looking, even going back to the NMLA, things along those lines, or the radical side of the NMLA, the Sigma, whatever Theta 7, and those people. Theta 7 was exposed to Thargoid stuff and turned into a super soldier. What to say that those super soldiers aren't in the process of existing? Are we looking at something where it's been really? Am I going to be like, I fucking was right all this time, all this long ago when I was like, the Thargoids are turning people into super soldiers?
What do we think the point of, assuming we're going to get limpets and we can maybe drag captured humans back out of the Titan. What do we think the point of doing that is?
Same point as rescuing them from burning stations, isn't it?
Right.
But with a bit more
Rescue mission
urgency.
with some money. What
Rescue
I was
mission
wondering,
with some money, like turning around some of those systems that are already inhabited, maybe.
yeah, what I was wondering is in the past, I feel like we've had things like this where the point of doing it is that there's some sort of hidden CG, if you like, but the point of doing it is that eventually it enables Aegis or whoever to develop something else because we've rescued enough. Because this conversation is talking about, what are they doing to the humans? Maybe if we could rescue some of them, we'd find out. So maybe I'd almost do it the other way around. I'd sort of have us encounter these super soldiers and find them pretty damn formidable and think, oh, how on earth are we going to defeat these? And then start rescuing humans from the Titan and rescue enough and get to the point where Aegis can go, aha, we've discovered a new weapon that you can use against the super soldiers to.
Nothing's been said to hint that our way of extracting them from the Titan is going to come sooner than them appearing to fight us somewhere.
No.
So at the moment, we've got no means of extracting them from the Titans. I think it's meant to have been a leak from a little while ago, isn't it, Psychic? Is that right?
What's that?
So the leaked conversation isn't supposed to be, oh, it happened yesterday. Isn't this leaked conversation meant to be slightly...
July 18th. Yeah.
So potentially they've already, or they're close to having developed the gizmo, the thingamajig, and this is going to push that along. Or we could start encountering
What happened
stuff
around
on
July
Planet
the 18th? As far as I'm opening.
Birthday.
Yeah, no one cares, Ben. I'm so sorry.
Wow.
I care minimally.
No, you really don't.
I really don't. What is it, 33:09 right now?
I'm just scrolling back. July 18th. What was that? The Hunt for the Dedicant.
Okay,
Presidential
so
candidates outline manifestos.
the Hunt for the Dedicant. That was when the ship disappeared.
So around about that same time as when they're having that conversation.
So Katie's right in chat. She thinks the melody has changed since the Thargoid cult were taken. I hate having to say that Katie's right.
I'll say it for you. Katie's right.
Fuck you. But yeah, there's definitely a correlation there, isn't there? Interesting.
Yeah, so, we could end up with our next thing being... Because in it, they kind of say, oh, there would be a process. We need to scan and find out where the pods are. And then they say we would need to develop a way of extracting the pods from that location. So I think the first thing we're going to get, if anything, is... Hey, give us your Titan scans, that Titan data that you've been collecting and you didn't know what it was for yet. Give us some of that sweet Titan data, and possibly there's some more things that we want you to scan somewhere specific.
Yeah.
We've marked the points that we want you to scan on the Titan now, so that you get this specific, focus more on this area for us. And then from there they'll be like, okay, now we've designed the automated sook people out of pods limpet, and in order to build the limpets we're going to need MacGuffinonium delivered to places, and then
some unobtainium as well.
Unobtainium and classical music to be delivered to the and cat memes delivered to this particular location. Then we get the limpets. Then the limpets we get to rescue people using the limpets, and at that point eventually something happens, I guess. Yes, cat media. That's it. It's cat media. It's not cat memes. Cat media.
I think also I know I can see you talking in chat as well about the implants, the cult implants being a thing. I don't think it was plot armor, Alec. I'm very much of the opinion that it was mentioned for the first time, specifically that they had implants. And I agree with Katie in the fact that I think that they were prepped for whatever happened. Whatever those implants are, it makes those people different. Do you know what I mean? It makes those people sort of different and maybe more susceptible to.
Here's a thought. I don't know quite where it goes, but suppose, because this is classic sort of shady organization stuff, where some shady organization that's watching all this knew that they were going to get a bit like, okay, here's a character that's just popped into my head. What's his name? The robot in Alien who basically observes what Ash. Basically, Ash knows exactly what's going to happen, and he's just fascinated, and he's standing at the back observing and watching it all and taking notes because he's just intrigued to see, how this horrible thing is going to happen. So maybe someone is doing the same and is using the Far God people as victims to see what happens. And these implants are little more than tracking devices.
Oh, yeah.
Which we're going to use to lock our limpets onto them in the Titan.
Also a possibility for sure. For sure. Those are your two flip sides of that coin. It's either we've done this specifically so that we can rescue, in very inverted commas, we can rescue you, or we've done this. Oh my God, is Etienne Dawn going to be like, hey, all of those escape pods that you gave me, hey, I've not done anything with a lot of them. There's still quite a few in my freezer. Do you want to put some of those chips in them too and feed them to? Will we be buying cadavers to give to? It's got dark. We've made it dark. Are we going to be implanting nukes in cadavers?
To send in. I mean, I was thinking. Etienne Dawn did cross my mind, but I was thinking as reinforcements. Once we get depleted, we have zombies of our own, provided by our pal Etienne.
Etienne's zombie army.
Etienne's zombie army. It's like just when you think we're about to all get defeated and there's no chance of us ever winning, suddenly Etienne appears with his cadavers, with his robotic cadavers that are able to now take on Fargods.
The necromancer.
Yes! 100%.
With his zombie horde.
Yeah, and then if the zombie horde gets depleted, then you can return to Salvation in his giant mech suit. But up until then, Etienne Dawn and his zombie army.
Lich King Etienne Dawn and his zombie army. Oh my God.
And then what they can do is they can adapt the passenger cannon as a weapon that we can fit to our ship.
Oh my God.
And we just start firing these people into battle
fire our counter zombies into the Titan to sow chaos. I do like the idea. I didn't think of that, Alec, that someone, because of the timeline of this, we're saying that the conversation happened just before the Dedekind goes missing, slightly before the Dedekind goes missing, around about that time.
It's slightly before we got the messages.
Slightly before we got the messages, and the Dedekind was full of people with those trackers on. Do you send the people with trackers in so that we now have something to scan for when we go to the Titan? It's just like, yeah, we sent an entire ship worth of people to their doom. They kind of wanted it and kind of asked for it. So anyway, we sent them in there.
lads, I got a fucking fleet carrier full of nutters.
I've given them all little trackers. I've put an air tag on them all. And that way we'll be able to see where they're storing them on the Titan.
It's dark. I'm liking it. I think that's.
I like it. I feel like that's the morally grey area that I love to sit in.
And who did it? Was it Aegis? So is this Aegis's dark truth that they're prepared to sacrifice all those humans just so they can find out where they're going?
I reckon it was Torben or Salvation in his Guardian mech suit. Oh, Katie's saying it was Ramtar. Katie's all in on Ramtar.
They were just getting all the engineers in. The engineers have had a meeting and like, listen guys, we're going to sort this out. Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice we're willing to make.
Amazing, amazing. He is a Guardian fanboy, so he might be like, I'm going to be on the side of the Guardians. That's so funny. That's so funny. I need that to be the case. And we've also found the show title for sure. Lich King, Etienne Dawn and his zombie army. It just feels right. It feels right. It makes my heart sing. But in all honesty, it's probably just going to be Limpets.
And then we go back to Limpets.
That's the other show title.
It'll be Limpets. It's just Limpets. That's when it actually happens, and we're just like the sadness for not experiencing Lich King, Etienne Dawn and his zombie army. It's gonna be so sad. It's gonna be so sad. He rides in on some kind of like crazy. He's riding an SRV for some reason with this crown. I love Etienne Dawn. He's so like diminutive looking when you actually meet him. That the idea that he's this crazy powerful Lich King tickles me in a way that I did not expect to be tickled today.
I'd forgotten we could meet these people, the NPCs actually there.
Yeah, you can step out of your ship sometimes, I've heard.
Does Etienne
they made a whole expansion for it.
Does Etienne Dawn's NPC look like the Nazi in Raiders of the Lost Ark?
I believe so. I haven't wandered up there for a little while. Oh man, that's funny. That's really, 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 really funny. Does anybody else have any other thoughts about predictions based on those notes, those sound files?
I'm wondering.
Or any thoughts about them?
I'm wondering if we're gonna get some broken images. They talked in there about broken images that they're able to sort of convert based off of the music. That they're starting to get pictures, occasional pictures, and I don't know if we're gonna get some little broken sort of cutscenes. And I mean broken as in like clippy sort of cutscenes rather than just physically broken cutscenes. But
not stenography. What's it called when you go and analyze a sound file and you find the picture?
Yeah.
Well, going back to the roots.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, because they're kind of saying there's something in the melody, there's something in the song. We're working out a way of sort of showing what it is. Are they sort of saying, hey, you should be listening to some of these files and things in the background now?
The thing is, when they're muddy. When they're muddied with conversation and things like that, it makes it kind of tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like that would be a bit crap because if we can decode sound and get some meaning out of it using technology, then what's special about Sarah?
Yeah, but it's meant to be the adjustment, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. You're probably a bit right on that fact. It was just that they were saying that there was going to be a way of getting more information or trying to convert it so that we're getting more. It's like it's not I can read the Thargoid's mind. It's more along the lines of if I guess right, they stop resisting, which I quite liked. It was like if I've got the wrong theory,
the sound doesn't grate so much when she thinks of it in the right way. That's my kind of takeaway on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got to be. She knows the correct way to sort of interpret the noises. That's what her like physicality, and what makes her special is that she can interpret the noises without maybe being affected by it in the same way that the Thargoids are. Because she's like super empathic or something along those lines.
Here's a crap analogy, but if you're listening to a bit of music and you're trying to interpret it as a lullaby, suppose you're listening to a spot of Aphex Twin, and what you've been told is this is the lullaby, and you're thinking, oh, this is doing my head in. This isn't making me sleepy at all. But the minute somebody tells you, no, actually think of it as energetic dance music, then suddenly it's like, I can make sense of it now. It fits with. It's like when you expect something to taste of strawberry and it tastes of vinegar. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I know the analogy that you're making for sure. she's got like the mental and the physical coding to be able to interpret these and this information in the way that Thargoids are wanting it to be interpreted, but she also needs to sort of like hone that skill as well. She's still learning it because it's still relatively new for her, which is interesting. I think providing that we get more information relatively quickly, 9 days time possibly, that I don't think we've got a huge amount of time to wait for like the next bit of info.
For sure. Update 17 is... Do we have a vague date? It's a way off, isn't it? November? October, November?
Yes, question mark?
I feel like we don't really know. Later in the year.
Later in the year. Probably sometime between now and Christmas, one would think.
Yes.
Which is sooner than you think, despite how fucking warm it is right now. So I think, unless anyone else has anything that they want to bring up, I would just like to say it's very well voice acted. Again, it's very, very well voice acted. It's the three that they've got playing these three roles. Well, it was always going to be important that you get the right people to do it. Tanner is still giving me daddy vibes, and I love it. But it's very important that we had the right people for it. That they had the right people for it, and I am.
I don't
pleased.
suppose you know who they've got.
I don't. I really don't. They have so many. They have so many different people, so it's tricky. It's tricky to say. There's it's just like a pot of voice actors that they pick from where they advertise their bits. It's great. It's great. These folks are really, really good. I'm really impressed with them. So yeah, fingers crossed we get some more information really, really soon. Let's move on to the question of the week then. So if you've missed this before, in our Discord, in our Twitter, on our Twitter, we post a thing every week where we go a question of the week. Normally over the weekend, asking for you lovely, lovely listeners to come back to us with some bits and pieces of information or things along those lines. And this week, this was right up your alley, Alec. This week's question was basically pimp your SRV. If you could add any cosmetic things to your vehicles in game, because it's a little lacking, what would you like to add? And we'll start with Alec, because he's the first answer that I've gotten here.
I said this last week. I would like everything. I would like furry dice inside my SRV, please. I would like the blue tinted Tony and Sandra sunstrip across the windscreen. Names customizable, obviously. I would like subwoofers on the back shelf and a graphic equalizer. Throwback to a show many episodes back. I'd like a gear knob shaped like an engine piston. I would like a chrome exhaust extension, a Richard Grant flexi boot spoiler for anyone that remembers those, and obviously alloy hubcaps. And as a special extra bonus, see if anyone can guess which of the above I actually had on my
Richard Grant flexi boot spoiler.
Never afforded it. Couldn't afford it.
God
Wanted
damn it.
Didn't have it.
Sandra sunstrip across the windscreen.
No, I had the graphic equalizer and subwoofers. I had I did have a black leather gear knob with my initials in silver on top.
Nice.
You've never had a beaded chair?
No, I didn't have the beaded chair.
Speaking of beaded chairs, we had Katiana was next, saying beaded seat covers, fluffy steering wheel cover, pine tree shaped air freshener, stick on eyelashes on the headlights. I'm going all in.
Brilliant. Eyelashes, I'd forgotten those.
Ben, do you want to take the next one?
Yeah, can do. So, a certain gentleman by the name of Tom Cool.
Never heard of him.
Saying, yeah, never heard of him. He's wanting pastels painted by Beetlejuice painting job. God, I could see I don't know if they could do that, but I could
He
see.
also said made of Lego paint job and ship kit too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I was assuming he's made a Lego paint job.
Nope.
For it, and I was
No, I
like,
think he wants
how
it
do you
made
do
of
that?
Lego paint job and ship kit. So to make your SRV,
Make your SRV look like a
the
Lego model.
SRVs we built at ECM.
Pretty much, yeah.
That would be kind of neat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
funny.
I would like it.
Do you know what? Frontier, the community would pay a lot of money for any paint job that was made by Beetlejude. You could put it on an adder, and the community would go nuts for a Jude paint job.
For adders.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%, especially if it was like, well, the thing is,
You'd have to do it for charity.
the thing is, Jude, well, obviously there would need to be a conversation with Jude first, but knowing Jude, it would be like a charity thing, but you can't do a charity thing along those lines because of just the way ARCs works and all of that kind of stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know,
how
but
would you
Jude
do
did
it then?
add and a trail of raffle tickets streaming from the back, which was very funny. Chris, do you want to take the next one?
Yeah, we had Ken Dobson, a drop-down bulldozer blade, just like the Firefly in the original Thunderbird series. Think of the fun you could have with the Scavengers. I mean, you're talking about a cadaver scoop, mate. It's patent
Yeah,
pending.
man, that's what that is.
It's a cadaver scoop. Yeah, 100%. I mean, like different attachments for it. I mean, you've got the sort of sciencey stuff that they've done for ships. Could you not get like crazy science stuff that you could add all over the SRV?
I'm sure we could do that.
Or you could have the sort of spikes like you get on ships, but just with already someone impaled on the front by default.
So
Brilliant.
Mad Max
Fury
style.
Road. Yeah.
Yes.
God. Amazing.
Actually, there's no reason they couldn't do a what do they call it? We've got a reverb kit for ships, haven't we? There's no reason they couldn't do that for the SRV. That would look awesome. Either or I guess it's a bit Death Race 2000, isn't it? Is that the film I'm thinking of? Ancient film with people made their cars covered in spikes.
I just don't know if you want to combine that with the next one that you've got, Alec.
What's the next one? Shall I read the next one? Mark Gamer.
Yep.
I would pay ARCs for an outdoor barbecue cooking station fit on my Scarab.
Don't combine it with the body impaled on the front.
We could then have
Don't
squad.
kick shame.
Hey, that was last week. We can't do this again. Holy shit. We almost made it through the whole show, gang.
Sorry, Mark Gamer. We could then have squad cookouts on oxygen Atmos planets. What could go wrong? I like it. An outdoor barbecue cooking station on the Scarab.
I'm just thinking it would be
go wrong?
I mean, it would be a great way of dealing with the zombies if you could just impale them on the front. Anyway, carry on.
We have Commander Grockwicks, who says camo paint job for the Scorpion, keeping it real.
Yes.
Keeping it grounded.
Do we not have that already?
I don't think we do. Like, I'd love to see a digital camo. Oh, I can't believe I said that out loud.
I know, but maybe we don't. Maybe we don't.
I think we've just got like plain straight colours.
Yeah.
I am checking now.
Well, you check and I'll go and say what Commander Silas Rezzi's saying.
Go for it.
Who's wanting furry dice?
Who
and
doesn't?
a replacement red alert bulb, obviously.
Nice.
We'll have to change the light bulb.
We'll have to change the bulb.
Commander Estrella is saying purely cosmetic kits might be fun. Roll cages, tow cables, extra searchlights, sensor dishes, etc. Could honestly do a hazard kit for the Scorpion and a survey kit for the Scarab. Yeah, I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
I can't find any. How am I supposed to find it? Like, ship kits, yeah. Paint jobs. But the paint jobs, if you want to pick a ship, it literally, hang on, I might have missed it. I found it, don't worry, keep going.
Go on. Commander Judson Crandall. The ability to name... Actually, this is a great idea. The ability to name our SRVs would be great.
Hell yes.
Yes, please. And a lunar Jeep-like paint job.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Update for you. They're all just plain colours. So there's military colours, so like military sand, desert sand, things along that. But it's a straight plain colour. There's not like a camo colour or a multicolour at all, which is a shame.
Okay.
Commander Banana Phoenix says bumper stickers with things like "To Colonia or Bust" or "Eat My Space Dust." I really like that.
We do need bumper stickers, don't
You know what we also need?
really
I
like
was
that.
a variant on that, but we need things like Clarkson does in Top Gear. We need to be able to paint a word like Scunthorpe down the side of our SRV, and then have it that when the door opens, something is revealed that's highly humorous.
I don't think that Frontier would go for that.
Probably
I can't
not.
think why. I cannot think why.
I mean, I would settle for some L plates.
Yes.
L plates would be amazing. L plates would be so fun.
Just married and a string of tin cans at the back.
Just nonsense. Stabilizers.
Who's doing? Shall I do John Six Shooter? John Six Shooter, who says a radio. Why not? And tinted windows.
Just like I love the ones that are so real.
A radio.
A radio on tinted windows. Great. Cool. Perfect.
An electric aerial.
For sure. Okay, so I'll do Will's. Will says we've got a few ideas. Young'un suggested a claw attachment to take samples like the Artemis suit. Also, more vehicles to choose from. A crab SRV that has the Artemis attachment for sampling plants, because crabs like grabbing things. More and varied paint jobs. I thought of streamers attached to the SRV can be used like ribbon gymnastics. Sometimes I copy these without reading them. Different tyre types, spike tyres for frozen planets, monster truck type tyres for rocky places. So when I thought about this question, and when we thought about this question, I genuinely thought that people would just be talking about cosmetic things. But like the options, even the options to change not cosmetic things, like actually like the physicality of your ship, of your SRE to make life easier for you, that would be great. I also want a hovercraft.
I think, I mean, just to, before the last one, just to touch on it, I think even something like naming the SRV, and that in some ways is the simplest. I do see Frontier's problem, because the SRV is like a what is it? It's something you restock. It's like bullets. It's not a thing we really own. You know, you blow one up and you go to restock and you get another one. So it feels like quite a fundamental change for the game to recognize our SRV as a thing we own and can engineer and swap things out. I mean, we can put paint jobs on them, I suppose, already. So it's not beyond the pale, but it feels like
it's a custom 3D print with your stuff on it. Or
I
something
suppose
like that,
I suppose it is. I suppose it is. It just feels slightly. I can see that something like naming the SRV. I can feel that that's slightly uncomfortable fit for the way Frontier have currently modelled an SRV.
Yeah.
But then you are printing entire ships that have got the name attached to the side of it as well, so you know. it is a possibility. I just like the idea of a crab SRV where it just travels sideways, so you're not able to move it forward. You're just kind of scuttling from left to right and going, "This is really impractical." This looked like a great idea, but now I'm feeling really silly, and I'm trying to complete a time trial. It's
The throttle doesn't actually make it go forwards and backwards. The throttle operates the scoop, and you've just got to use your laterals to crab left and right.
You can occasionally do a small leap, and then that's it.
And only when you're leaping can you actually turn.
Yes. Perfect.
Oh my gosh.
It's getting added to the design now. The perfect SRV.
So yeah, so I tacked on at the end. I think same idea as Katie was saying about the tree air freshener. But I do remember on our old car we had it was like a Garfield that looked like it was hanging on the window.
Yeah, I know the Garfield.
So something like that, or you know how you get like those claws hanging out of, so it looks like you got like a child's hand hanging out the car door, or something along those lines, or the boot or whatever. But then again, like somebody else was mentioning bumper stickers. Like I was thinking my other car's a Scorpion Scarab. I'd rather than the fluffy dice. I'd rather the chance cubes from Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
But then this all basically got me thinking. These are essentially decals and ship art that could also work on our main cockpits. So
they're like bobbleheads, aren't they? Or,
yeah. So why can't we have the both? But then I did thinking, well, we could possibly have, like you get cars with neon underlights or something like that. Or
that would look nice.
Yeah, or give me bright pink headlights and things. Neon headlights and underlights and things, maybe.
Yeah, I really was down for like underlighting. I thought underlighting would be really fun.
We do half have it with the SRV Pulse Orange set, which gives you luminescent orange wheels.
Yeah, let all of the Pulse ones give it like a bit of a glow.
A bit of a glow.
For sure.
But proper underlighting for on your Scarab, well, your vehicle's arms and under the body, and just nice highlights, basically.
Absolutely. I think we will for sure wrap it up there with regard to the question of the week. Folks, keep an eye out for it over the weekend. It will be on our Twitter. We also pop it in Discord as well, where you have limitless space to write, but don't write essays. Please don't write essays. If you write an essay, I'm not going to read it all. But yeah, keep an eye out for that. I loved it. This is like one of my favorite bits of the show. It's great. It's like enjoying watching an NPC walk into a wall just constantly.
Yeah, my client and everything's crashing on me today. Actually, Discord's crashed twice, OBS has crashed, and Elite's crashed on me twice now as well.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Maybe your computer's giving you an intervention. I don't know. We don't do interventions here.
I think maybe my computer's like, hold on, what game is this?
Hang on, you've loaded the wrong game, Ben. So we'll move on very quickly to any other business section. There is a game that's coming out on the Epic Store for free.
Yes.
For free, which is
I'm assuming it's the free one.
Yeah, free on the Epic Store from the 7th of September to the 14th of September, called Spelldrifter. It combines the puzzle-like positional tactics of a turn-based RPG. I've never really played any turn-based games. That's a lie. Turn-based games are where it's at right now. It's great. I love an RPG. RPGs are really fun, as long as they're a good thing. I was going to give you more information about how I felt about Starfield.
Oh,
I'm not going to.
Oh.
Actually, I will. So, again, I feel it's if you go into it in having enjoyed previous Bethesda games and expecting a Bethesda game out of Starfield, I think it's going to meet your expectations. I've spoken to a fair amount of people about this now. Starfield will meet your expectations if you're going with that mindset. If you're expecting Game of the Year, I don't think that it qualifies. I don't think it even holds a torch to some of the other fantastic games that have come out of this year. If you're going in wanting a space simulator in the same way that you would want a space simulator from Elite Dangerous, or what's the other one? What's the other one which Elite Dangerous is always compared to, and I can't remember the name of for some strange reason?
Well,
Star Citizen.
Star Citizen. If you want the realism of Star Citizen and Elite Dangerous, as far as that's concerned, you ain't getting it with Starfield. You will get more space flight. I have found in the eight or so hours that I've played, you get more space flight from playing No Man's Sky.
Is there? I mean, I'm guessing. I think I know the answer to this. Would there be, for example, any point playing Starfield with a hostess?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, right. I thought so. Yeah.
Would it be fair to compare it to sort of like Skyrim in space?
100%, absolutely. I would say Skyrim and space as a background character.
Okay.
Skyrim, and it just so happens to be situational in space. The stuff that I've done so far could all be done on the same planet. It doesn't make a difference. That you go through space and you have to travel through areas. Now, whether there is whether, as everyone's saying, like when you finish it opens up a bit more when you finish the story. So it gets good after the story is finished. From another thing that I've said, when you move away from the main quest line, as long as you completed the main quest line, then it gets good. That to me isn't the kind of game that I'm after. I have enjoyed in its defense, I've enjoyed some of the bits that I've played. When I wasn't taking it as seriously yesterday, I enjoyed it a lot more than when I went into it seriously on Friday and was expecting a different game. If you want an RPG with interesting story and you have any sort of at all interest in like a fantasy setting, although there is space in that as well. But if you have any interest in a fantasy setting, that gives you more options and has more engaging characters, I was recommending Baldur's Gate 3 to people after less time than I spent in Starfield. And my recommendation for Starfield is, if you can, get a month of Xbox Game Pass and play it on that.
I've got two questions.
Very quickly, for sure.
Right.
I know we've run a bit over tonight.
Yeah. One of the best things that I've loved about Baldur's Gate 3 is the fact that the voice actors also did mocap for their characters. Does Starfield's okay? So it's all animated.
It's animated through AI with interpretation of the voice motion. It's very good as far as that, but characters just stare at you blankly, in the same way that they do from my understanding, in all Bethesda games. Unwavering eye contact.
Okay, and the other question that I'd have is, I've always felt that the first month of any Bethesda RPG has been a buggy mess that you can barely play. How does this compare?
It doesn't feel super buggy. I've seen TikToks and shorts of people experiencing bugs. I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm enjoying it, but given a choice, I would play Baldur's Gate as opposed to Starfield, or I would load up Elite or No Man's Sky, knowing that I had something else to set space itch. Although I'm kind of interested to see where this one character story goes. And that's the one thing that's leading me. And I was watching Bognugas play earlier, and he's having a romance with a different character. He's really enjoying that kind of thing. So yeah, it's gonna be,
at least it's playable.
It's playable, and if you enjoy Bethesda games, if you've been looking forward to this, if you've already bought it, I think you're going to enjoy it. I genuinely do believe that you're going to enjoy it, but it isn't going to scratch the same itch that Elite Dangerous scratches, or that Star Citizen scratches, or that No Man's Sky even scratches, or Deliverers Mars, or things like that.
The Fallout scratch or something like that.
Oh, you might enjoy it if you like Sky. If you played Skyrim and you were like, yeah, but what if this was a little bit more sci-fi?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the vibes that I get from it. I don't think it's going to. it's just I don't think it's a killer of any other game by any stretch of the imagination. It's certainly not for me. It's certainly not a game of the year contender.
Can't circumnavigate a planet, and for that reason, I'm out.
For sure. Unless anyone else has got anything that they would like to bring up. Excellent. We shall move on to our shout-outs. Our sister station, Hutton Orbital Radio, broadcasts on Thursdays from 8:30 p.m. You can tune in at twitch.tv/Hutton Orbital Truckers, or for just the audio at radio.forthemug.com. For the discerning commander who likes a bit of CQC action, check out the CQC Discord at discord.me/Elite Dangerous CQC. We're also giving shout-outs to the following Elite Dangerous podcasts which have appeared over the last year, or our standard regular contributors. The Guard Frequency, who do other space games, so they're probably going to talk about Starfield as well, and Loose Screws. Following this, I'm assuming we do have the latest Gallant News Digesters provided by Commander Wotherspoon and Commander Beetlejude.
We do.
Fantastic. Thank you to those who have chipped in on Twitch chat, you absolute legends, and our in-game commanders. Who have we seen in-game?
We have had JCB Digger, we have had Siberius, we've had Baron Tentus, and I don't know, have you had someone else as well, Ben?
No, I think that's Siberius is the main person who's been flying around with us, so no.
Fantastic. Oh, I did have something else that I wanted to say. Hey, if you like fantasy games and Dungeons and Dragons and all of that, Roll for Adventure's back on Sunday. Anyway, that's on my channel. Special thanks to Commander Tokoso, JN Trax, and Alan Stroud, who created the music used on the show. That is it for another episode of Lave Radio. If you would like to get in touch with the show, then you can find contact links in the home contact us menu of the laveradio.com website. Do let us know if you have any questions or if there's anything you'd like us to discuss in a future episode. Lave Radio is recorded live on a Tuesday evening at 8:30 UK time and streamed out at laveradio.com/live. Thank you to Alec.
Thank you, Claire. I won't be here next week. I'm going off into the woods to carve a chair.
Incredible. Thank you to Ben.
Thank you, Claire. I'm not going into the woods.
I mean, I thought we just went down by the river. And thank you so much to today's tech specialist and my general bestie who will literally do anything if I tell him to do it. The wonderful Chris Mark IV.
You're welcome. Alec, just make sure that what you're carving is in fact a log and not a deer.
And not a deer.
Brilliant.
Yeah, can you make sure that happens? Hi, my name's Psychic or Claire. I love you very much. This has been an absolute blast when I didn't realize that I was going to be hosting today. So, thank you guys. Until next time, Commanders, fly safe. And if you can't do that, fly dangerous.
Is your life like this? Sounds like someone having an orange inserted into them. Need a safe word. Space can be loaded. I'm gonna see the galaxy.
Ah, damn it. No worries, guys. Hold the fort for 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Galnet News Digest, 5th of September 3309. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, the Thargoid Whisperer admits it was she who leaked a private Aegis conversation. The friendly Thargoids are gone. Rackham is under active investigation, and the first 2 Imperial statues have been announced. Plus, the new smarter limpets can save you time and a bounty.
It was former Azimuth test subject D2 who released the conversation between Aegis leader Albert Ezro and Aidan Tanner last week, and she says she did it to prove that Aegis has been open and honest. In the conversation, which took place nearly 2 months ago, the Aegis staffers discussed how best to release the news that the Thargoids have been abducting millions of living humans and storing them in pods aboard their Titan motherships. Sjojin A says she released the recordings without permission, but with the intention of protecting Aegis from those who seek to denigrate its motives. During the conversations, Sjo can be heard interrupting to explain that these stored humans will be in some way essential to the Thargoids for the next phase of war. Aidan Tanner is believed to be developing a plan to recover those who have been abducted. From what is known, it seems likely that Aegis will rely on pilots to fly into the maelstrom and force the Titans to release the pods, or human beings, as they might be described. It is unclear when pilots might be asked to undertake this work, or if any additional equipment will be released by Aegis to make it easier to accomplish.
The friendly Thargoid interdiction that pointed the way to the ancient Thargoid Guardian battleground in Rigo BU-Y B2-0 may have been a one-off fluke, according to Aegis. Thargoids have been intermittently present in the surrounding systems for a couple of weeks, but actually seeing one has been next to impossible, as they've seemed to be extremely shy. And now they've gone completely, with some commentators questioning whether they were ever there at all. Peace activist Dev Venkatesh said he was disappointed that we've lost an opportunity to communicate with non-hostile Thargoids, but at the same time he was pleased that the Thargoids chose to withdraw rather than fight. The Holloway Bioscience Institute's Dr. Yong-Hui Shin described the apparent Thargoid retreat as highly unusual, speculating that they may have been interrupted in some secret activity by the presence of so many human sightseers.
True to their word, the Federal Times has hired a detective agency to try to prove that independent presidential candidate Zachary Rackham made his fortune through piracy, and they've gone straight to someone who knows. Tarja Gavaris was, in 3305, Rackham Capital Investments' chief financial officer. It seems likely that she attempted to organise a hostile takeover of the corporation, but was dissuaded through Rackham's use of blackmail. Ironically, he threatened to expose her, as a former pirate. The world-class detective agency has reportedly already tracked Gavaris down, and will be interested to know what information she has on Rackham. Journalist firemaker LaFosse could barely conceal his excitement. He hopes that Rackham can be implicated in funding the attempted coup against Archon Delane in May last year. By contrast, Rackham's running mate Harlan Turk has the support of populist icecasters when he claims the Times is breaching impartiality rules during the extended election run-up. Despite Rackham's wild promises of wealth for all, he remains an outsider, with the Law and Order candidate, Republican Jerome Archer, and Shadow President Felicia Winters of the Liberal Party far more likely to win the contest whenever President Hudson allows it to take place.
Capital and Topaz will gain new public art as a result of the hugely successful appeal for raw materials last week, and there's a promise of more triumphalist artwork to follow. The first two statues will be Emperor Arissa Livigny Duval, who will become the centrepiece of the Imperial Palace's central plaza, and Lady Florence Livigny, who will be placed in the main square of the Topaz metropolis, alongside the modernist representation of her lover and betrothed, the late Emperor Hengist, which is said to watch over the people of the Empire like a highly polished rectangular caretaker. It's unclear whether the statue of Lady Florence will be a minimally decorated lump of granite in keeping with the late Emperor's likeness, or if the gold, jadeite and platinum collected will be used to create something slightly more ostentatious.
The new smarter limpets that have recently replaced the old dumb sort after Manticore applied a firmware fix are now far less likely to thud uselessly into a planetary surface. And rather handily, drones guarding cargo or materials on a planetary surface don't seem to notice them. So now you can steal that cargo without ever having to worry about a trespass warning. And if you're visiting Dav's Hope, not for the atmosphere, but just to collect materials, you no longer even need to land. Just drop some drones and clean up in seconds, repeatedly. Okay with that?
And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News, we read the news so you don't have to.